because most of the time the stories we're telling ourselves about what they're experiencing, what they're thinking, what they're feeling aren't true. Like we were filling in gaps just so that but it doesn't actually help us. So
it's really funny that you bring this up. Do you want to have a little game? Because this is really
Sure.
fun. Okay. So there's this little thing that I do, and it's all about the stories you tell. This is an Ahara principle that I talk about. So I want you to think of an object, any object. Just come up with something. What is that object?
An apple.
Okay. Now I want you to think of another unrelated object.
A dog.
So how is the apple like the dog?
They are both from nature.
Okay. Okay. How is the apple better than the dog?
At least in America, you can eat it.
Okay.
An apple, but not a dog.
How is the apple the parent of the dog?
I don't know. I could use some help with that. How is the apple the parent of the dog?
Just whatever comes to your mind.
It gets to sit on my counter and the dog does not.
There you go. So here's the moral of this little game, right? Just like a fish swims in water, you swim in your thoughts. And you're always going to find an answer to those three questions. Your mind is going to create something that may or may not be true. And I don't care how many times I have played this game with people, they always come up with something. And so you act on what you believe. And the interesting thing that I say to people is, okay, so how do you know what you know? And you get all kinds of answers. Many people think, well, it's based on numbers or scientific fact, or it's part of my family culture. Like this is just the way it always was, or I read it in a book, or I saw it on TV, or somebody that I really respect told me, right? Or I just feel it in my gut. These are all reasons that we have for knowing what we know. And so what I like to do with people is to challenge them and say, what's the basis for your acceptance of these stories that you continue to tell? And it is a very interesting thing that starts happening with people when you challenge their belief systems and say, how do you know what you know? And playing that little game with the two objects is a real illustration of how we make stuff up all the time. We take a little bit of fact and we build a whole story around it.
And then